During the spring festival travel rush when going home, my boyfriend's female buddy took over my seat. My boyfriend frowned and said, "Luna didn't get a seat. Please give it up for her." I was pushed by the crowd to the next carriage. But later, he regretted it. He blocked in front of me, his voice trembling. "We're together. Ivy. Come back with me. Okay. I'll give you the seat from now on." People were coming and going in the carriage. Many passengers walked past me, and the corners of their suitcases rubbed against my ankles. Luke frowned and said, "Luna didn't get a seat with a seat number. You give it up for her first and I'll switch it back with you at night." I was stunned. "But I'm your girlfriend." "Hey." Luna was surprised. "Dude. Didn't you buy both of your tickets? Can't you even make a decision?" She glanced at me intentionally or unintentionally and lowered her voice just enough for me to hear. "Back home. Didn't you always decide what to do with my stuff? You've become such a pussycat since you got a girlfriend. Well, I don't even dare to mess with you anymore." As Luna said that, she was about to stand up, but Luke beside her suddenly pressed her knee. He looked a bit annoyed. Then he turned to me and said, "Be a bit more sensible." I took a deep breath, holding back my anger in public. "Luke, how much is the ticket? I'll transfer the money to you right now." "Miss, please get off my seat." Luke stretched out his arm to block me. "It's just a seat. Why are you making such a big deal out of it?" Luna widened her eyes and hooked Luke's other arm. "No way. Sister-in-law. Do you two keep such clear accounts between lovers?" Luke looked at me. "If you don't want to, you can sit here. I'll stand and accompany you too." As he said that, he stood up. I suppressed my anger. "No need. You two are so reluctant to part with each other. You might as well die together." Someone behind me was urging with their luggage. I turned around and left. But I heard Luna's sarcastic voice. "Wow. Seriously? Is she angry already? Hey, Luke. Didn't you say your girlfriend looks a lot like me? Why is she so fussy?" "She's nothing like me at all." Luke paused. "Don't mind her. I've spoiled her too much usually, which has given her such a temper." I unconsciously gritted my lips and was swept by the crowd to the next carriage. I met Luke on the day of the welcome party. My performance was a chorus. Just before going on stage, I got my period. A big stain on my white dress was extremely obvious. It was too late to change it. I was so anxious that I was running around like a headless chicken. Suddenly, someone handed me a coat in front of me. I was stunned. Looking up, I saw Luke Brown. He smiled at me. "Wrap it around. I've seen girls do it before. Move carefully, and it won't be noticeable." My face flushed bright red, and before I could thank him, my name was called from the stage. I quickly wrapped it around myself and ran to the stage. I finished singing through the discomfort of abdominal pain. When I got off stage, someone handed me a warm cup of milk tea. The dazzling stage lights shone on Luke's face as he said, "Let's go. I'll walk you back to the dorm. Give me the jacket back when we reach the door." But when I returned it, a white stain was clearly visible on the jacket. I awkwardly hid it behind my back. "Classmate, can I have your contact info? I'll clean it and return it properly." The second time we met, Luke said, "You remind me a lot of a friend of mine." I was confused. "What kind of friend?" He replied, "A girlfriend." At the time, I thought it was just Luke's cheesy pickup line. Little did I know, he actually had that kind of friend. A girlfriend. Inside the train car, the crowd was packed tightly. Luke had booked a slow train, and I got squeezed into the seat at the very edge near the door. My thigh slammed straight into someone's knee at the edge. Ouch! The next moment, a pair of warm hands helped me up, and a calm voice asked, "Are you okay?" When I looked up, I met a familiar pair of eyes. Sean Miller. "Are you taking this train too?" "Yeah." Sean nodded, studying me carefully. "No seat." I felt awkward. I actually had one. He seemed to understand. With one hand, He picked up his jacket from the seat, stood up, and grabbed my arm. Sit here. I was startled and tried to refuse. But he firmly pressed me into the seat. Did you bump your leg just now? Sean's tall frame stood in the narrow aisle space. It was cramped. His breath seemed to brush against my face. I lowered my head. It's fine. He didn't say anything more. Suddenly, he turned and pushed through the crowded car to the other side. I called out to him, but my voice was drowned out by the noise. The other senior across from me chuckled softly. Underclasswoman. You wouldn't happen to be Ivy Smith, would you? I replied blankly. Yes. Hello. Senior. The senior looked at me with a meaningful smile. My phone started buzzing. After taking it out, it was a call from Luke Brown. His voice sounded a bit anxious. Ivy, where did you go? Then, Luna Green's voice came through the phone. I've always said she's nothing like me. Such a hassle. This young girl. Luke seemed to cover the receiver. The background noise lessened a lot. There are too many people on the train. How about you go to the dining car first? I'll call you back later tonight. Okay. Don't wander off. Ivy. I'll worry about you. I couldn't hold it in and whispered angrily. Is that how you worry about me? You're just worried I'll leave that carriage so you can't enjoy your little flirtation with your so-called brother. There was a brief silence on the phone. That's a bit too much, don't you think? Before he could finish, I hung up the phone. Right in front of me, a tall guy was walking back against the crowd. He was holding an egg in his hand. Roll the egg on the injured area in the restroom. The senior across from me was winking at me like crazy and coughing lightly, hinting at something. When I looked up and met Sean Miller's eyes, his expression was normal. I bumped into your leg. I can't just let it go. If my mom found out, she'd scold me. I can't tell Aunt Miller. Even though I said that, I still reached out and took the egg. It was burning hot in my hand. The WeChat notification sounded. It was a message from Luke. Ivy. Luna and I grew up together. She's been in poor health since childhood, and I have the responsibility to take care of her. Please understand and be sensible. Okay. I replied. Okay. The other side showed that he was typing. Our messages were sent at the same time. Luke. It's great that you're being sensible. I'm really relieved. Me. How should I understand it? Should I buy you two a condom? There was no response from the other side for a long time. I didn't wait any longer and blocked him on WeChat. Just because they grew up together, does it mean they have to have an ambiguous relationship? I looked up at Sean standing beside me. We've been neighbors for more than a decade. Always keeping a certain distance. At the stop, the number of people in the carriage increased instead of decreased. Sean was very tall, standing in the aisle. He was squeezed into a bit of a mess. I instinctively wanted to stand up, but he pressed my shoulder. He looked at me silently, seeing an old lady half leaning on him. Sean frowned helplessly. The aisle is crowded. You sit. I couldn't stand up because of his hand on me. An old man who just got on the train was trying to put his luggage up. The luggage rubbed against Sean's back, and he staggered. He braced himself on the back of my seat. Our breaths mingled, and his nose brushed against my face. I was stunned. Sean Miller quickly got up, with the tips of his ears turning slightly red. At this moment, a man's angry roar suddenly came from the junction of the carriages. Ivy, what are you doing? Luke Brown pushed aside the passengers crowded at the door with one hand on each side and rushed in front of me. Inside the carriage, it was in a complete mess. He shouted. So this is the reason you didn't go back. Luna was worried about you and asked me to come and find you. And here you are flirting with another man. Ivy, don't you know how to respect yourself? I really misjudged you. Sean Miller stretched out an arm to block him in front of me and looked at me questioningly. The anger that had been pent up all the way welled up at this moment. I suddenly stood up and looked him in the eye. You respect yourself. You, as my boyfriend. Hugging and cuddling with your female friend is self-respect. But me finding a place to sit when I'm injured is not. I raised my voice. Uncle and aunt. Look. My boyfriend is in the next carriage. Carriage 11. He kicked me out for his female friend. A dull pain started to come from my thigh. And my eyes turned red. I was pushed into this carriage by the crowd. In an instant, the passengers around got excited. The old lady closest to me covered her mouth in shock. This is just too bullying. The migrant worker uncle shouted in his dialect. Good heavens. The people in the city are even more shameless than those in our village. He took out his phone and almost shoved it in Luke's face. Second uncle. Third aunt. Come and see these city people. They've got quite a show. He's messing around with other girls. And his girlfriend can't even sit down when she's injured. Luke's face changed several times. What does this have to do with you? Put the phone down. How dare you record me? Put it down. He was so angry that steam was coming out of his ears. Ivy. Come out and explain quickly. The passengers who had been pushed around by him were pointing fingers. Some were loud. And some were whispering curses. Anyway, there wasn't a single kind word. Sean Miller glanced at me and said in a calm voice. Before getting on the train. It was you who kissed another woman. Right. Luke's expression froze. Who kissed another woman? Sean took out his phone. Found the photo. And held it up. I just happened to take a photo. He enlarged the photo. And Luke's face was extremely clear. In an instant. The scene got chaotic again. The uncle pushed his phone in Luke's face again. Nephew. See, this is what they call a playboy in the city. You mustn't learn from him when you go to school outside. If you mess up your body, the girls in the village will spit at you. Luke's face turned green. He reached out to grab my wrist. Come back with me. Everyone on this train is crazy. Hey, how can you talk like that? Without me saying a word. Someone started to tug at him. The whole carriage was crowded. Someone pulled him away. The old lady stuck out her butt. And the old uncle stretched his waist. Coincidentally, they pushed him out of the carriage like a half-spinning top. Luke was gone. Everyone in the carriage turned their eyes to me. I quickly thanked them. Sean looked back at me and also smiled at everyone. Thank you all for your help. Thank you. The aunt raised her eyebrows. That guy earlier wasn't as handsome as this young man. Why don't you just go for him? I choked on my saliva, coughing until my face burned. Auntie, you've got it all wrong. My phone buzzed with a text from a blocked number. Ivy Smith. What do you mean by this? Letting those country bumpkins bully me. Did you even consider whether I'd forgive you? Since you're on break and can't keep me company. What's wrong with Luna and I getting along? If anything were going to happen between us, it would have happened long ago. Can you stop being so ridiculously jealous? I opened a short video app to search how to block texts from blacklisted numbers. Honestly, I used to think Luke Brown was reliable because of that code incident. But now, barely into vacation, had become a complete turn-off. Even the memory of our contact felt repulsive. Night fell. Most remaining passengers slept. Sean Miller rested his hands on the seat back. Head bowed. I lightly tugged his sleeve. He looked up. You should sit, Sean. Seeing his frown, I added. My legs are stiff. Standing helps. He pressed his lips together. I checked about upgrading to a sleeper. No tickets. I froze. That wasn't what I meant. Sean. I've already inconvenienced you so much. He met my eyes intently. I promised your mom I'd look after you. Silence stretched through the carriage. Unable to resist, I tugged his sleeve again. Please sit. The night's long. You can't stand the whole time. He answered obliquely. 7 hours till we arrive. Oh, yes. Planning to tell your family about that guy. It took me seconds to grasp his meaning. I shook my head vehemently. We're done. If Mom knew I dated someone like that, she'd drag me to get my brain checked. Not necessarily. She might take you for an eye exam instead. His tone lifted slightly. Expression softening. I felt uncharacteristically flustered. Sean probably never knew I'd idolized him since childhood. He was the legendary model child in our parents' circle. When I applied to colleges far away, part of me hoped to follow in the superstar's footsteps. Yet upon entering a university, I immediately heard of Sean Miller. He was already in the labs, the famously unattainable campus legend. Once, spotting him across the quad, I jogged over to say hi. His gaze swept over me before freezing at the sight of Luke Brown. Busy. Can't entertain you too. True to his reputation. Dedicated to research. Immune to romance. Better to admire from afar. Later, when Luke persistently pursued me, learning we were hometown neighbors, I agreed to give dating a try. It's okay. Currently, it's just an attempt. There aren't any excessive actions. As dawn was breaking, Sean finally sat down for a while after I talked to him. He squinted slightly, his eyelashes drooping, looking incredibly thick under the dim light. He was even better looking than when he was a kid. I was in a daze when someone knocked on the iron door of the carriage. Luke was standing there, looking grim. He mouthed to me, "Ivy, come out." There were people without seat tickets sleeping against the chairs in the aisle. They seemed about to wake up. Luke just stood there, motionless. It seemed like he would keep knocking if I didn't go. I had no choice but to go out. Luke's gaze passed over me and looked backward. When he saw that Sean in the carriage didn't move, he fixed his gaze on my face. "The time I promised you is up. Come back. I'll ask Luna to give your seat back to you." I glanced at the time on my phone. It was 5:45 in the morning. I was so angry that I laughed. I waved my phone screen in front of him. "The time you promise me is to make me give up my own seat and stand for your female friend until almost 6 in the morning." Luke was stunned and couldn't say a word for a long time. I turned around to leave, but he grabbed my clothes. He looked a bit annoyed. "I fell asleep just now and wasted some time. Now I'm asking you to go back. Ivy, there should be a limit to throwing tantrums. I came to find you just now and was ridiculed by you and your friend. I don't care about it because I like you. But if you keep this up, it won't end well." There was a hint of annoyance in his words. Before I could say anything, the door of carriage 11 was pulled open, and a head poked out. After looking around and seeing Luke, the person grinned. "Hey, you still haven't coaxed your girlfriend back." Luna squeezed out of the door carelessly, put one arm around Luke's neck, and looked at me. She winked and said, "Sister-in-law, you're not mad at me, are you? I've been on good terms with this guy since childhood. We grew up together like peas in a pod." Halfway through her words, she showed an understanding look. "If it's not because of me, then it's..." Luna dragged out her voice, and her eyes wandered behind me. What she meant was obvious. Sure enough, Luke's face darkened. His words squeezed out between his teeth. "Ivy, are you cheating on me?" He still held my clothes tightly. He closed his eyes and took a few deep breaths before lowering his voice. "Come back with me first. We'll talk about your business after we get off the train." I laughed and shook off his hand. "What business do I have? Tell me." "So, what you mean is that after you drove me away from my own seat, I should just stand beside you obediently for a whole day and wait? Should I kneel down and massage your legs for you?" My words were full of sarcasm. The input instantly made Luke Brown blush. "What are you talking nonsense about? What does this have to do with it?" Luna Green wasn't having it. "That ticket was originally paid for by my buddy. He has the right to decide who sits." "Right." She rolled her eyes. "You girls are so fussy." "You're not fussy," I sneered. "If you're not fussy, then don't sit. Buy a standing ticket and stand for the whole journey. Let Luke see how tough you are." "What?" After snatching it from me. "A fussy little girl. And getting all the benefits. Do you think it's no big deal? Well, I'll book a ticket for you now and send you back to City A. You can buy a ticket and stand back here on your own." "You..." Luna was stunned. She stammered for a long time, and finally stamped her foot and gave Luke an elbow. You should take care of your own girlfriend. This remark reminded me. I said word by word. I didn't say this before. Luke. Let's break up. Luke looked at me in disbelief. What did you say, Ivy? I glanced at Luna. Calmly, I said. From now on, if you guys come to harass me again, don't blame me for being rude. Luna let out an exclamation. Are you guys breaking up because of me? She took a step back, as if trying to distance herself. This is so funny. Luke doesn't even see me as a girl. Can you really fight because of me? Luke's eyes flickered. He sighed. Luna and I are really just ordinary friends. If there were any feelings between us, we would have gotten together long ago. Ivy, stop being so childish. Okay. Luna has already promised to give the seat to you. Come back with me. You can sit beside me and lean on my shoulder to catch up on sleep. My gaze fell on Luke's shoulder. The blue parka had a suspicious dark patch, like some liquid that hadn't dried yet. It made me feel a bit nauseous. I turned to leave, but he grabbed my arm. So it's okay for you to sit with other men. I tried to shake him off forcefully, but our strength was so different that I couldn't break free from his grip. In the standoff, a cold voice came from behind, forcing a woman. Should I call the police? Sean. I turned around and called him. The tall figure of the man approached. Under the pressure, Luke let go of my hand. Sean protected me behind him. With a cold expression. Going against a woman's will is against the law. Do I need to remind you? Luna's eyes lit up. She coughed lightly. It's not against her will. It's just a little quarrel between a couple. Sean's gaze fell on her face. Luna held her small face tightly, and her eyes became brighter and brighter. They're all my friends. I'll watch over them. The next moment, I heard Sean's voice. No need for you. I can watch over her myself. He took hold of my sleeve and led me back. If you have any trouble in the future, call me first. Hey. Luke shouted from behind. You're just Ivy's neighbor. You have no business interfering in our relationship. Sean turned around. Slowly, he said. But her mom has already entrusted her to me. I was pulled back into my seat by Sean Miller. Thinking about what Sean Miller had just said left my mind foggy and unable to react. A cup of coffee was placed in front of me. Sean's voice was gentle. Wake up. Silly. I hurriedly took it. Suddenly remembering something, I asked, Sean, why did you book a slow train? I saw him pause, unnaturally looking away, and he handed me the coffee again. Drink this. Clear your head. At that moment, the senior across from me stretched and said, Sean, you insisted on switching to this slow train. Sitting all night has worn me out. Sean frowned, stepped forward, and nudged that senior. The senior across became much more alert, glanced at me, and changed the subject. Ah, it's almost dawn. Time to get off. I took the coffee Sean handed me, sipped it, and found it sweet, not bitter. Suddenly, a large warm hand rested on my head, and the tone was coaxing, like talking to a child. We'll be at the station soon. Just wait a little longer. I'll take you to breakfast after we get off. I looked up, met Sean's gaze, and nodded blankly. Finally, I saw the familiar city as the train approached the station. I suddenly remembered my luggage was still on the rack by Luke Brown. I shot up and ran toward the other end, shouting, Sean, my luggage is still there. When I reached carriage 11, the man and woman were still huddled close. Luna Green pouted. What kind of girlfriend are you dating? Even your buddy is suffering. She and that guy are clearly involved. Otherwise, use my phone to add your girlfriend back first. Have her give me that guy's contact, and I'll help you fish for info. Luke's expression was hesitant. I walked up to him. Luke brightened. But before he could speak, a voice came from behind me. Spreading rumors is illegal, and slander is a crime too. Luna let go of Luke's sleeve and stood up, smiling brightly. Oh. This classmate. You brought my buddy's wife back. Sean frowned. Can't you understand plain English? Embarrassment flashed across Luna's face. I reached for the luggage on the rack but couldn't touch it due to my height. Luke stepped forward. I'll help you. But the next second, a pair of slender hands grabbed the luggage handle before him, lifted it with a deft motion, and set it down effortlessly. Sean didn't look sideways. Let's go. Ivy Smith. Luke Brown called out to me, his voice burning with anger. How dare you go with him? His voice was loud, waking the sleeping passengers in the carriage. All eyes gathered on us. Luke Brown continued hoarsely. I am your boyfriend. You walked away with another man right in front of me. Have you considered my feelings? I turned around and saw his reddened eyes. Luna Green beside him was crossing her arms, wearing a smug look of watching a show. I sneered. What? Only you get to kiss the woman beside you. Luna's face changed. You. What rumors are you spreading? Spreading lies is illegal, didn't you know? Luke Brown caught up to me. That's all in the past. Luna is my good friend. We have normal contact, and we rarely see each other at school. But you're different. He grew angrier as he spoke, his voice rising unconsciously. You're a girl. You should know to be self-respecting. What's the deal with spending the night with another man? Slap! A sharp crack interrupted his rant. He covered his left cheek, furious. With so many people around. You hit me. My right hand throbbed faintly, but the rush of satisfaction was indescribable. I couldn't hold back. In the carriage, I reminded him again. I went to the next car because you drove me away for Luna Green. And we've already broken up. If you come after me again, don't blame me for reporting you for sexual harassment. He tried to grab my hand, but it was suddenly swatted away by another hand behind me. Luke Brown glanced at Sean Miller behind me, then glared at me, gritting his teeth. Someone had been awakened. Spoke up. It's true. This young lady was driven out. I saw it yesterday. Instantly. The carriage buzzed with murmurs. Luna ran over anxiously. What's it to you? Mind your own business. That one sentence offended many people. The train pulled into the station. Many passengers got off, intentionally or unintentionally bumping into the two as they tried to push back. The pair stumbled off balance, shouting and yelling, but no one intervened. After all, Luke Brown himself had said the passengers on this green train were hicks, so bumping into a few people was normal. Right. I quietly thanked the passengers and hurried toward the door. Sean, go back and get your luggage. We're here. The morning city felt incredibly fresh. Sean Miller's friend said goodbye to us as soon as he stepped off. As he left, he patted Sean's shoulder and winked. Sean looked somewhat annoyed and waved him off. Behind us, Luke Brown and Luna Green also exited the platform together. He ignored Luna Green, chasing after Sean Miller and shouting, "What are you so proud of?" When she was with me, she had thoughts about you. She'll cheat on you too if she's with you. Sean didn't turn around. Instead, he grabbed my hand. His palm was warm. He led me out of the station to hail a cab, taking us to a relatively tucked-away little shop in the city. Inside the shop, they served the spinach egg drop porridge I loved most in high school. Sean ordered soup dumplings. The filling was my favorite kind too. I thanked him repeatedly. Senior, let me treat you to breakfast. Sorry for the trouble on the train. He seemed thoughtful. A whole night. And just breakfast. I was at a loss for words. With the year-end approaching, truly nice things. I honestly couldn't afford them. Reluctantly, I slumped my shoulders. How about I throw in an egg? Sean paused mid-movement. He let out a quiet sigh. Sean and I had actually been old neighbors since childhood. Well, saying we were childhood friends wouldn't be too far off. We were just particularly close in high school. But he was a year ahead and left for college in City A. During my senior year, studies were intense, and I didn't even have a phone. So we lost touch. When I finally got to university and saw him again, he seemed different somehow. So I never reached out. I never expected that this trip home, I'd find him sitting across from me, eating soup dumplings one after another, as if we were back in high school. Those days when I chased him around constantly asking questions. It was hard not to feel nostalgic. "Sean," I suddenly called out, slipping back into the old high school way of addressing him. He looked up, putting down his chopsticks. His expression turned utterly serious. I snapped back to reality, my voice turning stiff and awkward. Senior." It was like he was waiting to hear something that never came. He seemed visibly disappointed, pressing his lips together. He just responded softly, He didn't touch another soup dumpling on the table after that. We shared a cab home. He glanced at me, hesitated to speak, then opened the rear door and slid in first. I was a bit stunned, left with no choice. I opened the front passenger door and got in. "Driver. To childhood friends community," I said. The driver turned the wheel, and the car started moving. I wasn't sure if it was my imagination, but I thought I heard a soft sigh from the back seat. It must have been my imagination. He was always the top student. I sat in the front and tacitly agreed to pay for the ride. Sean Miller had nothing to say about. He dropped me off downstairs. His gaze held something indescribable as he stared at me. After a while, he finally said, "Go on. Text me when you get home." I was stunned, slapping my forehead. I remembered. "Sean, I don't have your WeChat." But I saw him turn and walk away. His voice faintly came. "I've had it for a long time." I was puzzled. I went upstairs and searched for a long time. Finally, I found someone who might be Sean Miller. Not long ago, he had posted on his social media feed. So silly. I tentatively sent a message. "Sean Miller." The other side replied instantly. "Upstairs." "Yeah, okay." I checked the ad time. It turned out we had been friends since my registration day. Half a year. And we hadn't exchanged a single word. Scrolling further back on his feed, there were few records. But half a year ago, there was one. It had a picture of a white coat, exactly the same as the one Luke Brown gave me back then. I had washed it, but when I tried to return it to Luke Brown, he said he didn't want it. I thought he felt it was dirty, and I didn't bring it up again. While thinking, I forwarded a picture of the coat to Sean. The other side replied. I was embarrassed for a moment, but still probed. "You have this coat too." I looked at his reply, not knowing how to explain. Sean's message came again. "No, too. This was made by my mom. Only one in existence." I was dumbfounded, completely dizzy. Aunt Jean used to make clothes when she was young, but her eyes haven't been good in recent years, and she hasn't made any for a long time. The same coat. How could there be two? A vague story connected in my mind. I blankly asked, "So where is this coat now?" The other side on WeChat was silent for a while. "At your place." I called back. I only realized after talking with Sean Miller for 10 minutes that he was the one waiting backstage at the party that night. But something urgent came up in the lab, so he handed it off to the next person on stage. He made sure to give me the coat before leaving. He thought I already knew the coat was his. I gritted my teeth in frustration. So all the credit was stolen by Luke Brown. How could anyone be so shameless? Sean asked. "You didn't get together with Luke because of this, did you?" I was at a loss for words. The other end of the phone was silent for a long time. Finally, it turned into a sigh. "You're in college now. How are you still so clueless?" I slept like a log at home. My dreams were all scenes from high school. I was chasing after Sean. He brought me delicious homemade breakfasts. When he was a senior, his studies were overwhelming, with only half a day off on Sunday afternoons each week. Yet he still found time to come to my place and tutor me. Back then, my mom and his mom would joke around, saying we should become in-laws once we got to college, being more outgoing. I grinned and said sure. I'd get to eat tasty meals at Aunt Jean's place then. My mom hit me. saying I was complaining about her cooking. We all burst into laughter. No one noticed Sean's slightly flushed face at the time. When I woke up again, it was already noon the next day. My mom clanged her spoon loudly, complaining with concern. Who told you to take some slow train? It's not like you couldn't get a high-speed train ticket. Why put yourself through that misery? I felt guilty. I couldn't exactly say I had a boyfriend who was too cheap to spend money. So he booked the slow train. Before I finished eating, my WeChat buzzed. Come downstairs. I brought you braised ribs. My mom made them. I dashed out. My mom shouted after me. Where are you going? Did you finish your meal? After getting the lunchbox, I suddenly remembered awkwardly. Sean, your coat is still at school. I didn't bring it back this time. Sean's gaze was deep. He deflected the question. Call me Sean. For some reason, my face felt warm. Without the familiarity from high school, I stammered uncomfortably. Sean. Sean. He snatched the lunchbox back. My family's food isn't for juniors to eat. Hey. No. Sean. I reached out to grab it. After a few playful exchanges, it felt like some knot had suddenly loosened. I gathered my courage and shoved him lightly. You're really teasing me. He didn't react, just laughed. He pushed the lunchbox in his hands into my arms. Go eat quickly. I hugged the lunchbox and walked back. But my heart felt heavy, as if something inexplicable had been added. Let me emphasize again. The dishes made by Auntie Cheen are a deliciousness that no one can replicate. In less than a week, I gained 7 or 8 pounds. My mom was happy to see it, as it saved her from cooking for me. She even told me to have Sean bring some for her and my dad when he brings it. They've been best friends for decades. My mom also longs for the things Auntie Cheen makes, even more than I do. On a whim, I asked Sean Miller, how much of Auntie Cheen's cooking skills have you learned? He replied, I've learned all the ones you love to eat. Hearing this made my heart itch, not knowing what kind of feeling it was. On New Year's Eve, Auntie Cheen suggested that both families get together. My mom immediately agreed and took me to the Cheen's house. That day was very lively for us. Auntie Cheen and Sean were the chefs in the kitchen. My mom assisted. My dad was scaling fish. Uncle Cheen was deveining shrimp. I was in the live-ing room, eating tangerines. Auntie Cheen said that girls are meant to be spoiled, so I didn't need to participate. Someone suddenly sighed. If only we could always celebrate New Year's Eve together like this. So lively. Sean has sharp ears, he murmured softly. I think we can. He placed the fried meatballs he made in front of me. What do you think? At that time, I was busy grabbing red envelopes. I nodded along. Okay. I didn't notice the smile on Sean's face at all, until my phone vibrated violently. An unknown number called, interrupting my flurry of red envelopes. When I answered, the other person cleared their throat. Ivy Smith. Aren't you angry anymore? Recognizing the voice, I instantly hung up and blocked the number in one go. On such a great day, I couldn't afford to encounter such bad luck. When returning to school, Sean and I had regained the familiarity from high school, as if the first half of the year was just a nightmare I had. Suddenly, he sent me a screenshot showing the booked high-speed train ticket. I was startled and said, How do you have my ID card? I quickly transferred the ticket price to him. Sean Miller sent it back. I sent it again. This happened several times. Finally, he said, Aunt Chi asked me to take good care of you. I thought this statement was a bit strange. When I asked my mom, she was playing mobile mahjong with Aunt Cheen on the phone. Aunt Cheen's voice came through the phone. We won't interfere in young people's affairs. My mom said. Right. I won. At the station, I met Luke Brown waiting for his train. When he saw me, he trotted towards me. But before he could reach me, Sean Miller stepped in between us. Luke Brown suddenly stopped short, turned his head to look at me and said, I'm looking for Ivy. Don't cause trouble for no reason. Sean Miller didn't give an inch. I'm afraid that's not possible. He took my hand and escorted me to another ticket-checking gate. Suddenly, Luke Brown shouted, "Ivy. School's starting. Luna and I will stop contacting each other. You come back. Let's go to school together. I'll reserve a good seat for you this time. I'll book a ticket for you. Take the express train back this time." You should know how hard it is to find someone in the same city as a university. Everyone in the waiting hall looked over. Even the security guards were quickly approaching. I took a few steps back, but Sean Miller pulled me by the hand and brought me in front of the security guards. "Comrade, we don't know that person. We suspect he's here to harass us." The security guards nodded. With a serious look on their faces, they ran towards Luke Brown. Before entering the station, I saw Luke Brown being held down on the ground. Then a pair of big hands covered my eyes. Someone turned my head back and said in a calm voice, "Don't look. All right." We got on the train. Suddenly, a head rested on my shoulder. I looked down. Sean Miller had his eyes closed and said, "I'll trouble you for this journey." His phone buzzed. A chat window popped up on the screen. "Hey, Mr. Aloof. Have you won over your little Ivy?" Sean Miller had long fingers. He tapped on the screen and quickly replied, "Get lost." The other person replied with a laughing voice message. "Sure thing." Suddenly, I remembered the most special WeChat moment on New Year's Eve. Sean Miller's post. "Instead of waiting for the wind, go chase it."